Today we got two insanely powerful wizards going head to head. Gandalf versus Voldemort. Who comes out on top? Well, let's find out.
Eyes up. Stay sharp. Stay down. Final warning. I could do this all day.
Gandalf is a Maya, who are the underlings of the Valar, the gods of Middle-earth. He would sail his fellow Astari, Saruman, and Radagast to help Middle-earth from the Undying Lands. He aided Bilbo Baggins and 13 Dwarves on their quest to retake Erebor, and years later helped Frodo as a member of the Fellowship of the Ring. Gandalf's physical capabilities are much greater than what any other old man would be capable of. According to the Lord of the Rings timeline, when Gandalf fell from the bridge in the Mines of Moria, it was January 15th, and he battled the Balrog until he finally killed it on January 25th. He's also been described as moving surprisingly quick on a couple of occasions, and was as nimble as a goat. Gandalf also has a sword and a staff, which he usually uses against his mundane enemies. His sword is called Glamdring, which was the sword of the Elven King Turgon, and is much better at cutting and piercing than normal swords. His staff seems to be more of a badge of office than an actual item of power, as evidenced by the fact that he broke his staff in Moria, but was able to fight the Balrog just fine. But Gandalf's greatest asset are his magical abilities. Gandalf really likes to manipulate nature, and against magical enemies, he seems to resort to fire and lightning. Like when he fought against the Nazgul on Weathertop, it was said that light and flame like that had never been seen on Weathertop before. His powers are somewhat restricted by the laws of nature, though, as he stated that he isn't able to burn snow. Gandalf seems to have a wide variety of different powers that allow him to alter or destroy objects, like when he destroyed the bridge in the Mines of Moria. He's also not above altering an opponent's weapon. He's able to crack Saruman's staff just by speaking, and also instantly disarmed Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli. Gandalf the White is more powerful, or less restricted, than Gandalf the Grey, and has thousands of years of experience. He also possesses Narya, one of the 3 rings of power, but the ring wasn't really intended for combat, so it won't help him out here. So as we got in one corner, champion Lord of the Rings, Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White, however you want to look at it. But entering the ring, straight from Harry Potter, Voldemort, the Dark Lord himself. A dark wizard of nearly unmatched power. Lord Voldemort is the main antagonist of the Harry Potter series. His rise to power was marked by atrocities so horrifying that few wizards dared even speak his name. Voldemort was an extremely talented wizard even as a student, with Dumbledore saying that he might have been the best student Hogwarts had ever seen. As an adult, he became a tremendously powerful and accomplished wizard of almost unrivaled skill, and he's been deemed to be the only dark wizard possibly capable of surpassing even Grindelwald. Voldemort claimed that he had experimented and pushed the boundaries of magic than they had ever been pushed before, and Dumbledore said that Voldemort was possibly the most knowledgeable wizard alive. This degree of power and knowledge, coupled with his blatant lack of morals, made him an extremely dangerous adversary. Voldemort is also extremely talented and accomplished in the dark arts, having knowledge in the most unknown and complex dark magic possible, and is exceptionally skilled in all 3 of the unforgivable curses. He was able to use the Cruciatus Curse and the Pyrrhus Curse even while weakened, but has a particular affection for the Killing Curse, having killed a plethora of people throughout the years. Voldemort is also a master duelist, having overwhelmed 3 master duelists at once, although he did only choose to combat duelists who he deemed worthy. His dueling style was ironically a lot like Dumbledore's, as it's incredibly unpredictable. He would instinctively switch styles at the blink of an eye, and is extremely aggressive, using powerful dark magic to overwhelm his opponents. Voldemort's dueling skills are even so great that he was able to challenge Albus Dumbledore with the Elder Wand. End of the day, Voldemort really is one of, if not the, most powerful and dangerous dark wizards of all time. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now here you go, a battle between two of the greatest and most powerful characters in both Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, Mithrandir, otherwise known as Gandalf, and Voldemort. The Dark Lord versus the wielder of the Flame of Noor. Also, since I know some of y'all like knowing, we'll be using feats from both the book and the movies for both of these characters. Now, the first thing we gotta figure out here is just how powerful these two wizards are. What exactly are they capable of? Well, Gandalf is the greatest of the Centauri, one of the mightiest protectors of the Third Age, and is one of the most powerful beings in all of Middle-earth. He's able to manipulate weather, more specifically fire and lightning. This is kind of his go-to attack when battling against other magical beings. During his fighting against the Nazgul and Weathertop, he used storms and fire such that had never been seen on the hill since the war beacons of old. He is able to use fire and lightning during his fight against the mighty Balrog, and he's even able to launch the attack against countless enemies at once, burning holes and goblins, and causing them so much pain that they acted like they had gone mad. He's also got the ability to destroy objects around him, like when he broke the bridge in Moria. And Gandalf definitely isn't above targeting an opponent's weapon, like when Gandalf first appeared as Gandalf the White to Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. He was able to casually rob Gimli of his axe, set Aragorn's sword on fire, and vaporize Legolas's arrow without even uttering a word. Probably most impressively, Gandalf was actually able to destroy Saruman's staff, just by calmly saying, "Saruman, your staff is broken." He's also able to create powerful force fields and magical barriers, easily taking a fiery blast from Saruman, being able to momentarily seal the Balrog out, and in the Hobbit movies, Gandalf was able to battle against Sauron and hold him off over half a minute. This is honestly insanely impressive, considering that Sauron is arguably the mightiest being in all of Middle-earth, and Gandalf was able to fight against him while he was still Gandalf the Grey, before he became the much more powerful Gandalf the White. Then, finally, Gandalf also possesses the powers of telepathy and telekinesis. There's his classic telekinetic battle of Saruman, where both of them were flinging the other across the room, and his telepathy is probably even more impressive. All sentient beings in Middle-earth have the natural ability to read and communicate with others mind to mind, and Gandalf is no exception, being able to telepathically speak to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli when they suspected him of being Saruman. But as if that's not enough, Gandalf has even reached inside Frodo's mind and protected the Hobbit when Sauron tried to attack and control Frodo. So Gandalf is honestly an insanely powerful wizard. But then again, so is Voldemort. And the magic in the Harry Potter universe is actually more versatile than the magic in Lord of the Rings, as Gandalf is still limited to following the laws of nature, like not being able to burn snow. Really, no such limitation exists with Voldemort in the Harry Potter universe. He's one of the most powerful wizards in history, and is extremely proficient with the dark arts, being able to send blasts of energy and cause massive explosions. He's a master when it comes to manipulating fire, even being able to create snakes and the objects out of fire, is a powerful practicer of legomancy, can possess bodies and plant thoughts in an opponent's head, and he can cast powerful shields, essentially block or deflect every spell, besides Avada Kedavra itself. Voldemort can also fly without using a broom, is a master teleporting in battle, being able to appear behind an enemy and unleash a sneak attack, and he even almost killed Dumbledore with his technique. He could perform telekinesis, move people or things with no effort, could perform wandless magic, and there are the three unforgivable curses. Crucio is an unblockable curse, causing severe pain to an opponent, and even makes them feel like their bones are on fire. Imperious is one of the Dark Lord's favorite spells, being able to easily control minds and bend someone to his will. And his favorite and go-to attack, Avada Kedavra. This attack is completely unblockable by any magical spell or shield, and immediately kills whenever it tags a living being. Voldemort honestly is insanely powerful, being able to duel against Dumbledore, one of the most powerful wizards in the Harry Potter universe. And he was even able to destroy the magical barrier protecting Hogwarts that was cast by multiple powerful wizards and that dozens of Death Eaters weren't able to get through. So yeah, both of these wizards are insane. But with that power, well, there are a couple of things I want to take a look at here. First off, how will Gandalf compete against Voldemort and his teleportation? Secondly, will Gandalf be able to block the Avada Kedavra curse? And lastly, would Gandalf just be able to shatter Voldemort's wand like he did with Saruman's staff? Now, there's really no question here that Voldemort is faster. In fact, he's got the fastest speed and greatest reflexes in the whole Harry Potter series. Gandalf is surprisingly fast and agile for a man of his age, but his greatest speed feat is just being able to destroy an arrow that Legolas fired at him. Impressive, but honestly, a lot of the wizards and witches in Harry Potter are that fast. But Voldemort, well, he's able to conjure shields in an instant to block speeding spells, has the speed to react to teleporters, and Dumbledore is even too slow to block several of his curses. And while Harry is the seeker for the Quidditch team, and has incredibly fast reflexes and perception, Voldemort is still too fast for Harry to perceive the motion of the Dark Lord's wand. Voldemort is just a whole lot faster than Gandalf is, no way around it. And he won't be able to just cast spells and erect shields faster, but he'll be able to teleport all around the battlefield faster than Gandalf can follow. So can Gandalf block Voldemort's spells, and specifically block the Avada Kedavra curse? Well, Gandalf will definitely be able to block most of Voldemort's spells. Just like Voldy, he'll be able to block a lot of Gandalf's attacks. I mean, when he was just Gandalf the Grey, he held back the power of Sauron himself. Insanely impressive. But Avada Kedavra is unique. It can't be blocked by magic. It can only be blocked by a physical object, or it hits its targets and kills them. Problem is, and what makes this kind of difficult to figure out, is that Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings aren't the same universe, and don't have the same kind of magic. Magic in Lord of the Rings is all about inner strength, willpower, and spirit, while magic in Harry Potter is based more on the magic energy and potential in your body. And on top of that, Gandalf's power isn't even conventional magic, but more divine and angelic power. So like we said, they operate on just two different spheres, two different sets of rules, and it's difficult to say how they'll interact when going up against one another. But Harry Potter has made it clear that no magic can block Avada Kedavra, and Gandalf's shields definitely aren't infallible and can be broken. So I'd say more likely than not, Avada Kedavra is getting through Gandalf's shields, especially since Voldemort is just able to cast conventional spells powerful enough to get through magical barriers that a whole army of Death Eaters couldn't break through. And then finally, can Gandalf just shatter Voldemort's wand like Saruman's staff? Because if he's able to do that, well, that severely limits Voldemort's power, and almost gives an instant victory to Gandalf. Now, there are two trains of thought when it comes to this. First, that Gandalf was able to destroy Saruman's staff just because he had more power than him ever since becoming Gandalf the White. Secondly, that the reason Gandalf was able to destroy the staff was because Gandalf actually outranked him as being the head of the White Council. And since a wizard's staff is more a badge of office rather than an actual item of power, this was Gandalf just stripping Saruman of his rank and his symbol. Frankly, I tend to go with the second train of thought, but it honestly might not matter. Because just because Gandalf could potentially destroy the wand doesn't necessarily mean that'll be his go-to attack. Just like Voldemort could casually slit Gandalf's neck like he did with Snape, but that wouldn't be his go-to attack. So, end of the day, who wins here? Well, here's the problem with Gandalf. I love him. Love him a whole lot more than Voldemort. But the thing about Lord of the Rings is that J.R.R. Tolkien made magic incredibly mysterious and subtle, with no hard set rules or limits. I mean, half the time you don't even know if Gandalf is using magic or he's just lucky or persuasive. I actually remember my high school English teacher once said that you could read Lord of the Rings as there is no magic at all, and Gandalf is just using his wisdom, persuasiveness, and knowledge of nature. Like when he's trapped in the trees by the wolves during The Hobbit, he didn't use magical fire, just started a fire. Now you can only do that with the books, as the movies are a whole lot more liberal with the use of magic. But still, because of this, it's kind of difficult to gauge of what kind of forces and powers Gandalf is dealing in. He's a demigod, or a god and a wizard, but still a mortal, whose power is limitless, but limited in mortal form, but less limited when he's Gandalf the White, but yet still got some limitations, and so on and so forth. So in terms of raw power, Gandalf is more powerful. He's an immortal being in his highest form. but he's got limits. And with those limits, I'd say Voldemort is winning this fight. Voldemort is faster, more versatile, can block, deflect, or manipulate any of Gandalf's magical attacks, won't be overcome by Gandalf's telepathy and telekinesis, and I'm still not even convinced that Voldemort can't just instantly kill him with Vada Kedavra. Magic is just different in both of these universes. And to be honest, Lord of the Rings magic is just inferior in combat to Harry Potter's magic. Give Gandalf a wand and it might be a different story. But here and now, Voldemort is coming out on top. Voldemort wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure, hit that like button, subscribe button, and turn on notifications to join the Fan Kill Army. And I will see you all next time.